Hey guys, this is Neil with Catalyst Machine Works. I'm going to do a blue glove video for the new Merica Vista canopy. This is the new canopy for the mighty Merica that will allow you to run the now very popular Cadix Vista. So you can get crystal clear, beautiful HD footage on a racing quad. Okay, so I'm not going to go into wiring the thing up, so let's just get rid of that. This is essentially just how to install the Vista into the canopy. So let's get started. It's going to come with a bag of fasteners and a flip stick. We'll go ahead and open that up and dump all that stuff out. Try to get this stuff to not roll off the table here. Put that in a little pile. Now in the background you may hear some weird sounds. My children are with me today and they're young kids, so there's no telling what could happen. So I apologize if you hear anything going on in the background there. Alright, so let's get started. This thing is really simple in how it works. Obviously the camera is mounted here with these two screws on either side. So what I want you to do is take out the existing camera screws that come with the camera. So we'll go ahead and take those out. All right, there we have it. The reason I took those out is we're going to use the included screws, little M2 screws that come in your kit. These are M2 by 6mm long. Okay, so let's go ahead and install the camera. I don't have any idea which way is up. Okay, I think that's up. So we're going to put this in here. All right, line this up like this. Can you hear that thumping? I don't know if you guys can hear that thumping that's going on. They're upstairs acting like wild Indians. But I don't have it in my heart to go and tell them to stop. They're having too much fun. So there we go. And let's put this one in. Okay, so the camera's mounted in position, and I'm going to demonstrate how you can adjust the camera angle so you can get quite a bit of range on the angle of the camera just by doing this here. And of course you can set it in place. We'll just kind of put it in the middle. Tighten these up. All right, so that's done. Now what we will do is go ahead and install the flip stick. Just press this through here. Should be a pretty tight fit. That's by design. Okay. Now I'm going to do this off screen, but what I like to do is grab a hammer and just tap it into place. So I'm going to go over here to my table. Okay, so the flip stick is seated in there. Now, the flip stick, you can see it comes uncut, right? So it's really super long. You're not gonna need it to be that long. So let's cut it down. You can cut it wherever you want it, or you can leave it that long. It's up to you. I'm gonna cut it about right here. There we go. There we go. That's about how long I like to run my flip stick. We'll put the little cap back on so it looks pretty. And there you go. Okay, now, next thing we want to do is take these little sleeves. These sleeves are really important. You want to press these sleeves into these bores here, like this. Okay, you actually might want to do this as the last step. It's probably a better idea to do it as the last step because they might fall out while you're trying to get this installed. Okay, so we'll go ahead and take those back out, but just remember as your last step to put those in. All right. Don't forget your sleeves. Sounds like something your mom would tell you when you're young, right? Don't forget your sleeves. Okay. All right, guys, so the next thing that we're going to do is go ahead and install the stack into the canopy. All right, now the way that this works is inside of this canopy, you'll see there are these little recesses here on these four corners, and those match up to the four corners of the stack right here. So it's not installed with fasteners per se, it's sort of pressed into place and held in by the TPU canopy. So what you got to do is you got to take and sort of move this thing out of the way and just kind of wiggle it and move this until you can snap this into place, okay? And there's a number of ways you can do it. Just fiddle with it until you get it in there. You'll eventually get it in there. You're not going to damage this TPU canopy. This thing, you can take it and do this and it's not going to injure it, okay? When you're installing it, make sure to line up the USB-C port right here with this opening in the side, obviously. And before we install this, one thing that we want to do is go ahead and put the antenna in. So I'm going to remove this screw. All right. And then this moves out of the way. And then we're going to snap the UFL on here. Okay. That is a very satisfying sound. That little snap. Okay. All right, let's redo this here. Let's go in this direction. Like this. And then we'll, yeah. Eventually, we'll get it right. There we go, we got it. All right, I'm gonna put the screw back. I really like that Caddx designed that in to hold the UFL antenna connector. That's really slick. That's a good idea. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and install this off camera, and when I come back, it'll be magically installed. I've got it installed in there. You can see how that fits in there, right? So you just kind of move these things out of the way, rotate it in, and then fiddle with it until you get it in there. Okay, now there's a recess right here. This material has been moved out of the way so that the connector doesn't hit the side of the canopy. So be careful when you're putting this in that this little connector is rotated in the right position. All right, my friends, now the next step is we want to locate and fasten the antenna, and there's a little spot right here where you can do that. You can see there's two slots for the zip ties. So I've got a couple zip ties, and we will run these through. All right, so we've got that installed there. Now, what we like to do is take a heat gun. I actually don't have my heat gun here. I've got it at the shop. But heat this up, and then you can, and while you're heating it, just bend it like this. And then obviously when you let it cool down, it'll sort of stay like that. So that works out real nice. Okay, so the next part has to do with the flight controller. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and install just a dummy. So I went to my box of nerd toys and I pulled out this dinosaur. Look at this thing, man. A KISS flight controller. Holy moly, does anyone actually use these things anymore? Look at that, it's got cobwebs all over it. Okay, anyways, so the way that this thing works is you install the flight controller here, obviously, and the flight controller screws that are used are holding this guy in place, okay? So because you run these screws in here, it's not gonna allow these little bits to move out of the way and for this guy to fall out. So you have self-tapping screws and washers. Now, this is a 3D print. It's not injection molded, so it's not perfect by design. It just can't be. It can't be as good as an injection molded part. So bear with us. On these little bores here, you'll find that the little hole may be covered up with a little material. So what you'll want to do is take the self-tapping screw, and this is why we use self-tapping screws, part of the reason at least, and locate it in the center. And before you install the flight controller, just run them in once, okay? And it will find its way, all on its own, down through the center of this thing. There you go. Okay, and just do that for all of these. The reason I say to do that is it just makes it easier, so whenever you're trying to hold the flight controller in and you're trying to put the screw in, you don't accidentally get it offset and it's going at an angle or maybe off to the side or something. So there we go. So let's go ahead and start with one of the screws. Use the washer. The washer is very important. And we'll put this flight controller in here. There we go. Now keep in mind that you're running a screw into soft material. So this is not like running a machine screw down into aluminum or steel. You don't need to over torque it. Just get it to where it's snug and it will not move. It will not come out. And it'll hold everything in place. We know you're strong. Okay, you don't need to prove anything. All right. What it's going to look like with the flight controller installed. There we go. Okay, so once again, make sure that you get your sleeves in here. Okay, now I've got one of my old Merica bases here. The way that this thing goes down is just like any other Merica canopy on this pattern here. And then you're going to use the screws that come with the frame. They're M3 aluminum and they're 20 millimeter long. You're going to run them in here, secure your canopy, and then you are ready to go kick some ass. All right, guys, so that's it. If you have any questions, please feel free to email us at info@catalystmachineworks.com or support@catalystmachineworks.com. Happy flying.